3 seconds after you die, you might still be there. Not alive, but not gone either. Just aware. No one talks about this part, because almost no one comes back from it. Not minutes later, not some afterlife story. Just 3 seconds. And in that gap, something still exists. The question is it you?
Medically, death moves in stages. First, the heart stops. Blood flow drops to zero, and oxygen disappears from the brain almost immediately. Within seconds, electrical activity should begin to collapse. That's what we've always believed. That's what the textbooks say. But in controlled clinical observations, something doesn't line up. Patients who were clinically dead, no pulse, no respiration, and yet their brains were still showing measurable activity. Not the kind you'd expect from a system shutting down, not random, not scattered. It was organized, coordinated across multiple regions at once. These are called gamma oscillations. Under normal conditions, your brain produces them when you're fully present, focused, aware of yourself, aware of the room around you. They're associated with conscious thought, sensory processing, high-level cognition, and they've been detected at the exact moment of death. In some monitored cases, there was actually a surge, a brief, concentrated spike, not a fade-out, but an intensification, as if the brain wasn't shutting down so much as shifting gears into something. One explanation is physiological stress. As oxygen drops, neurons fire uncontrollably, a cascade, a flood. That's plausible, but it doesn't fully explain the structure of what's observed, because chaos doesn't look like that. Chaos doesn't have timing. What researchers found had both. Another theory goes further. It suggests this is a final integrative event, the brain making one last attempt to construct a coherent experience from everything it has stored. Memory, emotion, identity, all of it compressed into a rapidly unfolding sequence. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Time perception depends entirely on neural processing speed. Under extreme conditions, it can distort dramatically. What lasts 3 seconds on a clock could feel from the inside much longer. We don't know how much longer. We have no way to measure it from the outside. From the outside, the body is flat, gone, unresponsive, but internally there may still be a process running. Not life, not survival, something harder to name than either of those.
So, we have the data, but data doesn't feel like anything. The people who actually went through it, they describe something different entirely. There are documented cases of people resuscitated after being clinically dead. Their accounts vary in detail, but what's strange is how consistent the structure is, even across people who had never heard of each other. Different countries, different decades. Most describe awareness without a body, observation without control, like watching something through glass, present, but no longer part of it. Many describe a gradual separation, not a sudden cut, more like distance increasing, slowly, between themselves and everything familiar. Some reported being able to see their surroundings, their own body, medical staff, voices. Some of these details were later verified, not all, but enough to make dismissal uncomfortable. Others describe movement, not physical movement, but a sense of direction, being drawn towards something they couldn't name. And within that state, pain is almost universally absent. Fear, too. Some describe an overwhelming stillness, a calm that didn't feel passive, but somehow total. But not everyone reports this. Some describe nothing like that at all. No light, no movement, just awareness, suspended in a space with no shape, no sound, no reference point. And then there are the accounts that stay with researchers the longest, not the peaceful ones, the ones dominated by regret. There's no clean explanation that accounts for all of this, because the core problem remains. We don't fully understand how consciousness emerges, or where it ends, or whether ending is even the right word. So, what happens 3 seconds after death? The honest answer is, we don't know. But there's enough evidence to suggest that it may not be nothing. There could be a moment, brief, intense, inescapable, where you are still there, still aware, but with nothing left to do. And if that moment exists, it changes the question we should be asking. Not what happens after you die, but what happens when you can no longer act and are still fully aware of everything you've done. So ask yourself honestly, if you had to sit with your life exactly as it is right now and watch it, would you be okay with what you'd see? Because if those last seconds are real, then death isn't the part you should be afraid of. It's the clarity. The kind that arrives when there's nothing left to do but finally be honest.